BPR or business process reengineering projects and ERP projects are closely intertwined with each other. And in fact, ERP solutions, for example from SAP or Oracle, they position themselves as BPR enablers. There's a bi-directional relationship between BPR and ERP. For example, BPR can be the antecedent of ERP systems, or the other way around, ERP system can be the antecedent for BPR. We will study both these scenarios in the coming slides. First scenario, BPR as an antecedent for ERP system. In BPR, the company will try to improve its as-is processes and to align them with to-be processes which are supposed to be better than the as-is processes. And very often what we find is that these to-be processes will often highlight the need for an ERP system. And most BPR exercises, most BPR efforts in practice result or culminate in the implementation of an ERP system, as you can see from this slide. In this second scenario, that is ERP as an antecedent for business process reengineering, the organization purchases the ERP system and then attempts to redesign its business processes to fit the best practices of the ERP system. Of course, such an approach has many advantages. For example, the employees will get concrete experience in using the ERP system, and of course with best practices and will get used to the cross-functional nature of processes. Such as if you want to implement the ERP system in such a scenario, it is also easier because there is very little customization involved. But the drawbacks of first implementing the ERP system and then redesigning the business processes to fit the ERP system is that it is very likely to face stronger user resistance, because users are confronted with the ERP system without having been warned or without having been informed that there will be a change in business processes via BPR. Conversely, if you first do BPR and then you implement the ERP system, this has much more advantages. The main advantage is that you first do BPR and you have a clear idea of how your to-be processes will look like. And this will facilitate the selection of the best ERP system to fit your organization. Such an approach has also been shown to facilitate change management and to make it easier for users to accept the ERP system, because first the users or the employees are warned, they get a feeling of the business process reengineering exercise, and then the ERP system is launched. This approach also has the advantage that the company does not need to adapt its processes to the best practices of the ERP system, and therefore it does not need to give up any of its best practices that it was doing efficiently before. For example, if my sales business process is very efficient and gives me a competitive advantage over my competitors, I do not need to change this sales process and adapt it to the best practice of the ERP system. I can keep my own very competitive business process for doing sales. And such an approach of implementing the BPR followed by the ERP system also has the advantage that it facilitates the ERP configuration and customization, and it leads to faster return on investment. And very importantly, it prevents organization from automating processes which are already inefficient. Why I'm saying that? Because first you do a business process re-engineering, you re-engineer your inefficient as-is processes into more efficient to-be processes, and then you buy an ERP to fit these to-be processes. Conversely, in the previous configuration, you had inefficient processes and you simply buy an ERP to automate these inefficient processes. However, it also has its own disadvantage. If I do business process re-engineering, I re-engineer my processes in such a way that they are very sophisticated. It may happen that I may not be able to find an ERP system that fits these very sophisticated business processes. Or I may find an ERP system, but I would have to customize it to fit my business processes. And customization is a very complicated and challenging task in ERP implementations.